When it comes to the Fallout protagonists, it's widely considered that the Chosen One is the strongest of the bunch. Now, I'm not saying that the others are weak, but just in comparison, the Chosen One just has so many other feats that kind of put him a league above the others. I figured why not do another fun run and ask if you can beat Fallout New Vegas as the Chosen One. This run is going to be somewhat similar to my Frank Horrigan run, just with a few little different changes to it. Starting off my specials, I just kind of evened everything out for the most part. There's not really a canon build for Fallout 2 when it comes to the Chosen One, so I just went with what I would normally pick on a New Vegas run, but more evened out. Typical tag skills, specials, and traits, although I did go ahead and end up picking a trait that gives me -5 damage resistance for the entire game, which I think is going to be pretty fun considering I'm only going to allow myself to use a specific set of items and weapons. Now, for the armor, I'm just going to use the tribal armor, which is, of course, the armor that you start with in Fallout 2. The downside to that is it has 4 damage resistance, and I just gave myself -5 with that perk, so I'm at -1 damage resistance until I level up high enough to take the toughness perk. As for weapons, I'm going to take any weapons that were featured in Fallout 2 that are also in New Vegas Vanilla, and I've also got a mod that adds in some classic Fallout 1 and 2 weapons, which I'll be using here and there to spruce up the run a little bit. I went ahead and did Ghost Town Gunfight just to get some early XP, and then just kind of went wandering towards Prim. I didn't really have a specific route I was going to take this game, and I didn't figure that I wanted to just speedrun everything like I do sometimes to get to the strip as quickly as I can, so I just kind of went walking. The throwing spears were pretty nice to have early on. I spent way more time than I should have trying to kill things with them, though. I'm not very good with the throwing spears, as it's just something I don't ever really use. I did try to fight the jackals up the road, which didn't go well, and I had to go back to the road stop again since I died and deal with everything here. Now, once I moved on the second time, I got better luck with their spawns, and they spawned with some, less OP weapons. When I arrived in Nipton, I went ahead and punched a scorpion in true Fallout 2 fashion, because if you're not punching a scorpion in the beginning of Fallout 2, you're not playing it correctly. I did spend some time watching this random caravan cyberbully the shit out of a group of Legionnaires, which I thought about also bullying the group of Legionnaires that was right next to us, but figured I wasn't really that strong. I did end up picking up a classic Fallout 2 laser pistol on my way from that caravan, had some decent ammo from it from Doc Mitchell's house. I also went ahead and stopped in Novak to pick up that gun, since it is the 5.56 pistol in New Vegas, which is just a copy of the 223 pistol from Fallout 2. This is a pretty decent gun that'll last me a good chunk of the run until I get some better stuff later on. You'll see what that is, don't you worry. Spent some time killing a bunch of random people just because I wanted some XP, and then found some random dude that was sleeping and figured I would take his gun to sell for later. Now, I did just go ahead and work my way over towards the strip at this point. I didn't really feel like doing any of the side quests on the way, so I mostly just killed random people and picked up shit to sell. I stopped at the little gunrunner merchant that was under the 188 trading post just to pick up some more ammo, missed a couple headshots on a dude that was sitting still because I'm trash at the game, and then just spent more time killing raiders, fiends, whatever was on the way to the gunrunners because I had some stuff I wanted to pick up. One person did, however, drop a 12.7mm pistol, which I'm going to be using later on because that's just the equivalent of the 14mm pistol from Fallout 2, which is an absolute unit of a gun. Just absolutely great for early game, mid game, whenever you find it, really. Fallout 2 is pretty easy to break. I actually really hard considered replaying through Fallout 2 while I was doing this video just because getting ideas for Fallout 2 just made me want to play the game. So I think with that in mind, I'm actually going to do the next video on Fallout 2. I think I'm just going to do an inverse of this video and beat Fallout 2 as the courier. Not sure how that's going to work yet. I haven't really put together the idea too much in my head. I've basically just considered it, and now I'm gonna go do it. But as far as Freeside went, I was just handling things with the Kings. I figured I would side with the NCR. It kind of made the most sense, as it's the one faction that's kind of here that you can side with from Fallout 2, because, the NCR was like big and prominent in Fallout 2, so I figured siding with them in New Vegas makes the most sense if you're playing as the Chosen One. Next up on the list, of course, was dealing with Benny at the tops, which I just used the throwing spears for. They work honestly insanely well. I kind of didn't expect them to be that good of stealth weapons, and it's kind of sad that I didn't have a good chunk of them through this run because they're actually not that bad. Most people usually just ditch the ones that they have at the beginning or sell them for some easy caps, and honestly I think I'm going to start saving them in my own casual playthroughs because they're just good for stealth hits on enemies that don't have a lot of armor. Next up on the list is of course the boomers, which aren't really going to be that difficult, but before I got there, I kind of got sidetracked and fought like 3 different groups of raiders that had way stronger weapons than I was prepared for. Nearly died like 5 or 6 times here. I ended up hiding behind a rock for the most part, just spamming healing items, trying to kill everybody. I had a group of like 7 of them that all had heavy metal armor, so I was doing like very little damage unless I was hitting crits, but the boomers were dealt with in the nicest way humanly possible so that I could move on. I just don't feel like doing the boomers questline, it's really boring. To make up for this though, I did go ahead and fist fight Loyal for 5 minutes because he kept blocking my melee attacks, which was just oh so fun. I went ahead and restocked on some supplies and picked up a 12.7mm suppressor, which was an absolute beast of an item to have. I'll need this later for something specific. I thought about picking up a 10mm SMG, as that is an early game weapon in Fallout 2 as well, but I just decided against it because I had a deagle that I could buy as well. This actually is a weapon that is in Fallout 2 if you go on the wiki and look. I kind of forgot it was a thing until I looked through the actual list of Fallout 2 weapons for this run and was like, damn, I know I have a mod that adds a deagle, why don't I just go buy that and use it? I didn't have much ammo for it, but I figured I would get to that later. I decided instead of continuing the NCR questline, I was going to go forcibly glitch myself into Hidden Valley so that I could take out the Brotherhood early. This honestly went a lot better than I expected it. I figured the Brotherhood was going to be kind of hard to take down, but goddamn, the stealth attacks on the 12.7mm pistol are really good. So using this, I of course slaughtered a bunch of them, and it was going great until it wasn't, and I ended up dying. Second time around, I missed shots and kind of just sucked, but that's on me instead of, just the game melting me. I ended up finding a classic Fallout 2 Gauss rifle and Gauss pistol while I was down here, which was going to be absolutely insane. I ended up deciding to go test it out, and it pretty much melted everybody in here, like I expected. The power armor effect from the Gauss rifles were pretty devastating on the BOS soldiers in here. I mean, they all went down in like 2 or 3 shots. I was pretty much slaughtering everyone in here and just looting their shit to sell later. So after murder rampaging my way through the bunker, which, to be fair, you do kind of side with the BOS in Fallout 2, but alternatively, I just don't feel like doing the vaults for their questline. And pretty much anyone that does the BOS questline in New Vegas can kind of agree with me on that. It's just really, really fucking tedious, and I don't feel like doing that for this playthrough, so I'm just not going to do it. I should have, but I'm not gonna. Anyways, I went ahead and murdered Tabitha, went through Hidden Valley for a while so that I could just grab some easy XP off of the Nightkin, and then headed back to the Gunrunners to kill Malcolm Holmes, who I spotted before he found me, which was fantastic. After that, I just kind of went through Freeside for a few minutes, just wandering around, Freeside never really changes, and then I headed off to deal with a few more things. Next up on the list was of course going to be the Great Khans. I figured I would just take care of most of the NCR quest things before I went to Hoover Dam so that I wouldn't have to walk around as much. This was mostly just me getting into a bunch of fights with a bunch of Khans and then just killing them. I had a few other raider groups here give me some issues before I made it to Red Rock Canyon, but they went down pretty quick. I spent the majority of my time in Red Rock just using stealth attacks to kill everybody, which was pretty fun. The only place I can't really stealth through, of course, though, is the Longhouse, since everybody's kind of hostile to you if you go in there. And so, I just walked in there and cleared it out normally, but everybody outside was still not pissed, so ignoring that, I just cleared everyone else out with stealth attacks, and then had to go deal with the Omertas, who had a happy little accident, which made their questline no longer completable for this character. So we're just going to move on back to Hoover Dam and go deal with President Kimball's arrival. I figured I would do pretty much everything while I was here, except for a few little mistakes, so I was doing pretty decent. I just made sure to deal with the fake sniper and the bomb on the thing and blah blah blah. I just did all of that, and then it was time for the second battle of Hoover Dam. This really wasn't that bad, honestly. I had pretty damn good weapons at this point. I was a higher level than I normally am on these playthroughs. I think I was pushing like level 17 or 18 at this point, so the Legionnaires really didn't stand a chance. I mean, the Brotherhood got melted pretty much immediately, so of course they don't stand a chance. Any playthrough where the Brotherhood is just pretty much cyberbullied means that the Legion is going to be equally as easy, since the Brotherhood have higher damage resistance and health, so I just fought my way towards the Legate's camp. Nothing here was really that bad. I did get into a few little sticky moments, and it's mostly due to me having dog shit damage resistance, but at this point I had taken a couple ranks of toughness, so I was slightly harder to kill than I was a couple hours ago in this playthrough. I did deal with a bunch of shit, but the Legate pretty much went down in like 5 seconds. I mean, I just took a ridiculous amount of chems and then dropped him pretty much instantaneously. General Oliver arrived, and with that, I beat Fallout New Vegas as the Chosen One. Honestly, this run was really, really fun. It was really nice to use some classic Fallout weapons. It was mostly just an excuse to play with the mod, honestly, but for the most part, it was a pretty entertaining run, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, please leave suggestions if you have any in the comments below. I appreciate each and every one of you for, hanging out, supporting the channel, and watching the video. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to drop a sub or, give me a comment, tell me what you liked, didn't like, etc. And as always, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.